Trijets were the perfect blend of power, range, and efficiency. So why did they disappear? What made airlines abandon a design that once ruled the skies? Was it technology, regulation, or something far more unexpected? This is the story of aviation's most elegant compromise and the quiet forces that killed it. There was a time when the sky roared with the sound of three engines. Not two, not four, three. It was the elegant compromise, an aviation marvel that promised just the right balance between power, range, and economy. They were called Trijets, the DC-10, the L-1011 TriStar, the Boeing 727. These weren't just airplanes. They were icons. Look up at the sky today, and you won't see them. You'll see twin-engine workhorses and the occasional four-engine giant. But the Trijet, it has all but vanished. So what happened? What force was powerful enough to erase what many aviation experts once considered the perfect configuration? Was it regulation, technology, economics, or something deeper? To find the answer, we need to rewind the clock to 1968. The jet age was booming, airports were bustling, air travel was glamorous, and passengers were flying farther than ever before. But there was a problem. Long-distance flights, especially those that crossed oceans, demanded redundancy. More engines meant more safety. That's why early jetliners like the Boeing 707 were equipped with four engines. Reliable, sure, but also incredibly thirsty. Enter the Trijet. Boeing was the first to make a bold move with the 727, a sleek aircraft with a third engine nestled in its tail, integrated right into the vertical stabilizer. It could operate from short runways and high-altitude airports where other jets simply couldn't. Airlines loved it. Boeing sold nearly 1,832 of them, a staggering number at the time. But that was just the beginning. The real revolution took place on long-haul routes. Two giants emerged almost simultaneously, the McDonnell Douglas DC-10 and the Lockheed L-1011 TriStar. Both promised what the airlines craved: a plane smaller and more efficient than the massive 747, but capable of crossing oceans with a significant passenger load. And behind this twin debut, American Airlines. They wanted something cost-effective, nimble, and capable. In response, both manufacturers delivered three-engine designs tailored to that vision. The timing wasn't accidental. It was strategic, and it was perfect. Back then, the FAA had a rule. Twin-engine aircraft weren't allowed to fly more than 60 minutes from a suitable emergency landing airport. It was called the 60-minute rule, and it meant that crossing vast oceans with just two engines? Not allowed. That created the sweet spot where Trijets thrived. They didn't need four engines, but they weren't held back like twins. They could fly farther, burn less fuel, and serve lucrative international routes without regulatory handcuffs. The TriStar became known as the Rolls-Royce of the skies, packed with state-of-the-art avionics and boasting the first autoland system certified for zero-visibility landings. The DC-10, it was a versatile workhorse with variants for everything from dense domestic runs to ultra-long international flights. Both were marvels, and both seemed unstoppable, but the very thing that made them special, the third engine, would eventually become their undoing. There's one acronym you need to know: ETOPS, Extended Range Twin Engine Operational Performance Standards. It sounds technical, but its impact was seismic. The premise? If twin engines became reliable enough, maybe they didn't need to stay close to airports anymore. And that's exactly what happened. By the early 1980s, engine reliability had soared. Failures became rare, almost mythical. In 1985, the FAA cracked open the door with ETOPS 120, allowing twins to fly routes up to 2 hours away from a diversion airport. By 1988, it was ETOPS 180. And just like that, the Trijet lost its edge. Why haul around a third engine when you didn't need it anymore? Newer twin-engine jets like the Boeing 767 and Airbus A310 could do nearly everything a Trijet could, but with less fuel burn, lower maintenance, and greater efficiency. And the performance gap wasn't small. A single modern GE 9X engine produces more thrust, 134,000 pounds, than all three engines on a DC-10 combined. That's not a minor upgrade. That's a leap into the future. ETOPS ratings kept expanding. 207 minutes, 240, eventually 370. That meant twin jets could fly virtually anywhere on Earth. The third engine, once aviation's golden ticket, now looked like unnecessary baggage. And beyond fuel efficiency, that third engine came with baggage literally and figuratively. Installing a massive turbofan in the tail was a logistical nightmare. Lockheed's L-1011 used an elegant but complex S-duct to route air through the fuselage to the engine. It worked, but it added weight, complexity, maintenance headaches. Every added pound reduced cargo. Every extra bolt added cost. The DC-10's simpler, straight intake came with its own quirks, including instability concerns. And don't forget the maintenance crews. Replacing or servicing that high-mounted engine wasn't like swapping out a wing-mounted one. You needed scaffolding, crane, time, money. One technician said, tasks that took hours on the wings took days on the tail. That complexity had consequences. On May 25, 1979, American Airlines Flight 191, a DC-10, lost an engine during takeoff from Chicago O'Hare. It wasn't a design flaw, it was poor maintenance. But the incident severed hydraulic lines, caused wing slats to retract, and led to the deadliest aviation accident in U.S. history. 273 lives lost. The Trijets' reputation never fully recovered. Airlines started asking tough questions. Why pay for complexity when you didn't have to? The 1990s brought deregulation, brutal competition, and skyrocketing fuel costs. Suddenly, efficiency wasn't just nice, it was survival. The 767-300ER burned less fuel per hour than the DC-1030. Over a lifetime, that difference could mean tens of millions of dollars. The math didn't lie. McDonnell Douglas tried to stay in the game with the MD-11, a modernized DC-10 with winglets and more efficient engines, but it missed its performance targets. ETOPS twins like the 777 arrived and hit theirs. The MD-11 sold just 200 units before production stopped. Even FedEx, the champion of Trijets, began switching to twins. The MD-11 is a workhorse, one manager admitted, but it just doesn't make financial sense anymore. Yet there's something deeper to this story than economics. For decades, passengers equated more engines with more safety. 4 felt better than 3. 3 felt better than 2. Simple math, right? Except it wasn't true. Modern twin jets have proven so reliable that the odds of both engines failing on a 777 are lower than the odds of losing 2 engines on a Trijet. One pilot put it best, passengers ask, what happens if both engines fail? I tell them that's like winning the lottery while getting struck by lightning. Over time, perception shifted. Passengers began caring more about legroom, in-flight Wi-Fi, and mood lighting than engine count. And with that, the Trijets' psychological edge faded away. By 2014, the final passenger-carrying MD-11 touched down in Amsterdam, ending the era. A few still haul cargo, some fight fires or serve as flying labs. Most, though, sit in boneyards, sun-bleached, sand-blasted relics of a different time. Ask any pilot who flew them, and they'll tell you, these planes had soul. The L-1011 was the smoothest, most forgiving widebody I ever flew, said one retired captain. Today's jets are better, but they don't feel the same. The Trijet was never meant to last forever. It was a bridge, an elegant answer to a specific challenge during a specific time. When technology and regulation shifted, it became a relic, but a beautiful one, a bold one that dared to defy limitations. So the next time you step onto a sleek 787 or an Airbus A350 bound for the other side of the planet, remember this. Your flight exists because of the Trijets that came before. The ones that pioneered long-range routes, that challenged what was possible, that proved engineers could outsmart the rules in the sky. They may be gone, but their legacy, it's flying right above you. Trijets may no longer soar above us, but their legacy is etched into every long-haul flight we take today. They weren't just aircraft, they were stepping stones to a global future. So next time you see 2 massive engines carrying hundreds across an ocean, remember the Trijets that made it possible. Gone, yes, but never forgotten.